Aloha everyone, my name is Dane DuPont and this is May 4th of the 2018 Kilauea Eruption. May 4th begins with a new fissure opening up about 2/3 of a mile further uprift from Fissure 1 at roughly 1 a.m. in the morning. This fissure claims its first house in the 2018 eruption, a house belonging to a local school teacher and single parent. Fissure 2 opens in the middle of the night, the first fissure of the 2018 eruption to do so, and it will not be the last. There are going to be many significant nights, eruptions happening in the darkness, new fissures coming out, fissures reactivating. That's going to make evacuations only more difficult in the coming weeks. As best as the video can, this clip from USGS does capture the natural sounds of the eruption, which are powerful in and of themselves. I'm going to give you a second just to hear those. And this is where the eruption gets more personal. You're looking at Kapili Street and Leilani Estates, a spot where I spent a good part of my childhood growing up, playing in the street where this crack has run across the road and steam is starting to come out of it. Now, the steam signifies the very first stages of the fissure coming up to the surface in that area. The steam is magma burning away the groundwater that is in its path. You can see the steam escalate in a short period of time until the point where magma reaches the surface and lava erupts into the street. Now, the one thing about this shot here is not many people would notice, but there's supposed to be a house on the right. That would be a home that my father had built pretty much by himself a decade beforehand. And this lava coming out, once I realized where it was, I knew what it meant. And that we were in for a very rough day. Almost immediately afterwards, as I'm still trying to process the loss of that home, a magnitude 6.9 rocks the south flank of Kilauea. This map shows the Pu'u crater as well as the Kilauea caldera marked as the overlooked crater. The magnitude 6.9, when it strikes, creates 20 inches of displacement along the southern flank of Kilauea, opening the pathway for more magma to move down towards the residential subdivision. The strong earthquake creates rockfalls within the now drained Pu'u crater, generating a large plume of dust that is evidenced by the coloration that then billows out of the crater and can be seen from afar. And if you didn't see the plume from Pu'u, you sure felt the earthquake. This one was felt as far as Oahu, over 220 miles away. So far you've only seen fissures 2 and 3, but fissures 4, 5, and 6 also pop up on May 4th. We're flying over Fissure 2 now in Leilani Estates, moving to the northeast, crossing over Leilani Avenue, approaching Fissure 3 on Kapili Street. Now, by this point in the day, the fissures had ceased erupting. Fissure 3. See, it's butted up against 2 other homes. Fissure 4. And then Fissure 1 on Mahala Street, the original fissure. Not much has changed here, other than the forest is getting gassed and dying quickly. Move on to Fissure 5. Fissure 5 cuts across with that crack, Leilani Avenue. That'll be important later. Then finally, Fissure 6. This is near Pu'u Road, and there's also cracks beginning to run across it as well. So I'm going to spend a little bit time on Kapili Street and Leilani Estates and try and show you how the loss there, because in this series, we're going to be showing a lot of loss, a lot of people losing their homes. And since my family went in the first batch of homes lost, I figured might as well get this out of the way now. So you just saw what the home looked like before. Now this is the wide shot after. And DeMarcus, who was renting the property, decided to go in a few days later in order to see the status for himself of the primary house on the property. You can see everything is dead. This really was a beautiful piece of property. A ton of hours were spent landscaping and caretaking it. The before and after of the home. So I'm sharing this footage here with the reasoning being that I'm not going to be able to do justice to all the homes that are lost throughout the eruption, but I can do this one well, and then just think of all the houses that fall later have very similar stories to this. Now DeMarcus here, he was renting the property, and him and a friend are trying to make their way back to the primary residence. The cracks running under the foundation and the catchment tank are about to be the least of the issues here. Over the next few days, the fissures continue to develop, and then, after about a week, the house is destroyed entirely.